Welcome to SubVocalise and Tales from Tech Support. Today we have a story from South Compel. Today's been a bit of a quiet day. Some user unlocks, password resets here, some mailbox permissions there, until one of our clients called with a very urgent problem.
I can't connect to the terminal server. Help me, ASAP.
Okay. Is your internet working?
Yes, we got a new line. The tech finished up the change yesterday after we closed.
We arranged for a remote session so I can take a look at the problem. As per usual, I find out that it's the VPN tunnel that isn't working. I verify this with my data center colleagues. It has to be done on site. No problem. So I call the client and tell him that I'll drive there immediately to fix the VPN. I enter the building and head for the server room to check on the firewall. And it's gone. Client, where is your firewall?
What's a firewall?
It's the thing that should be right here. OP points at some cables that aren't plugged in anywhere.
That old piece of junk? I told the tech to throw it away because we don't need it anymore.
You do need it. It establishes the connection between your company and our data center.
Oh, that thing was important? Can you still fix our problem with the RPD though?
No, since that also requires the VPN tunnel that can't be established without your firewall.
Huh.
So there you have it. A client just gave his currently plugged in and running firewall away. You'd think you'd be a bit more hesitant to disconnect things if you didn't understand them completely. But I guess not. Today we have a story from a deleted user, and it jumps straight into dialogue, presumably on a call. Service desk, hello, please send someone to plug in my keyboard. I'm sorry, can I take your username? No, I need someone to plug in my keyboard right now. It's urgent. You've reached off-site out-of-hours support. We're 400 miles away from you. I'm afraid there's nobody able to plug in your keyboard right now. Are you physically incapable of doing this yourself? Of course not. How dare you? Are you telling me there's nobody who can help me? It's 9 p.m. at night, so we have nobody on site right now to plug in your keyboard for you. Can't you just plug the USB cable into the back or front of your machine? Well, I suppose I can. Hello? Have you plugged it in? I was waiting for you. I'm sorry, to do what exactly? I'm 400 miles away from you. Please just plug the USB keyboard into the USB port on your PC. Once my keyboard is working, I'm going to report this to management. I don't know what a UFP port is, and I don't know how to connect anything to this pooter. Yes, he actually called it a pooter. Okay. Okay. Windows device connection sound. Have you managed to connect it okay? No, I don't know how to connect anything. Did you connect something? Your PC made a connection sound. I connected my phone to charge. This is such a waste of time. Click. Okay, man, let me get this right. You're able to connect your phone, presumably via USB, despite the fact you don't know how to connect anything to this pooter. Please do report me to management. I can't wait to tell them that you need to have your computer replaced with pen and paper. ASAP. Well, you know, those UFP ports are tricky. Today we have a story from Marino Jesse. I work in a store that offers technical support for consumer-level technology. A few days ago, I had an elderly gentleman that we'll call Pete. Our receptionist made him a walk-in appointment earlier that day, and I ended up taking it. When I opened it all up, the only notes I saw were third-party software, hard of hearing. I walked up to Pete and greeted him. Saw he was staring at my lips as to read them. Then I asked if he knew American Sign Language, ASL. I've been trying to learn ASL as a sort of side hobby for a few months now. Pete signs yes, and we continued the conversation in Sign. Turns out the issue is with Skype, which keeps crashing on his roughly 5-year-old tablet, and he's been having difficulty video calling his wife who is deaf. She lives in a different continent. She travelled there for a temporary work opportunity, and would be there for 2 years. This being the midway point, it's now been 1 year since Pete's seen his wife. Skype is the only way they both know how to communicate effectively long distance, as neither are comfortable with email or other text-based services. As I go through verifying that he knows his password and making sure there's a backup of his device, Pete and I are signing back and forth and his face was completely lit up. I felt so good to be able to, albeit slowly, speak with him in his language and give him the time he deserved, even if his reason for visiting us had little to do with our physical product. Once everything was verified and backed up, I uninstalled Skype and reinstalled it. Had Pete sign in and use Skype's test call to ensure it wouldn't crash, as it would immediately upon call creation before. Test call went through fine. Sweet. I looked down to write a few extra notes and began to hear some coughs. I looked up and there was Pete, crying while waving to his wife through Skype. Pete called her and she picked up. He introduced me to her and told me that it had been 3 weeks since they'd heard from each other. I stepped away to give them a moment alone. It's moments like these that keep me going as a technician. Even though I barely touched Pete's tablet, fixing it made me feel like a hero. It's been a few days and I can still see his smile. Good on you, OP. We need to be helping each other in these troubled times. Today we have a story from a deleted user. It's been a bit since I've posted, so a quick rundown. I work for a small software company doing IT and customer service work supporting the users of our order writing software. We brought on a new company 6 months or so ago, and along with it came a sales rep we'll call Virginia. Virginia is 75 years old and not good with computers, but has the best sense of humor and understanding I've ever had from a client. Every time she calls in, she's always got something to say, which usually ends in, "I hope you've got your Valium nearby," and considers us all wizards. We recently updated our software and sent an email out notifying users of this. She calls in yesterday and we chatted up while I explained to her that yes, this was a real email, not spam, and that she should in fact update her program. She says, "Okay, I'm going to try and be a big girl and update this myself, but stay by the phone." A few minutes goes by and the phone rings. Sure enough, it's her on the caller ID. So I pick up without using the standard greeting and say, "Hey Virginia." She responds, "Darn, how did you recognize me with my hat and fake mustache on?" I lost it for a bit. Having a long week full of incompetent, ignorant, or intentionally destructive users was washed away because this little old lady told the most dad-like joke over the phone. Too long didn't read. Not all old users are bad, especially if they can laugh at themselves. Well, that's a nice one. It's always good when you get people that are a bit more friendly about things. Today we have a story from Nagol93. So I had to walk a client through setting up a printer over the phone, which required her to set an IP address to the printer, and she is not tech smart at all. "Okay, do you have a USB cable? Sometimes they come with the printer." "No, I'm looking in the box now. There's no USB cable, only the printer and power." "So it needs to be networked." "Great." I walk her through getting the printer on the network. "Okay, do you see a place to enter 4 numbers?" "Yep, it's right here." "Okay, the number is 192.168.0.3. "Okay, I put in 192.168.0.3. What's the second number?" "No, let's start over. The first number is 192, second is 168, third is 0, and fourth is 3. "Okay, so 192.168.0.3. "No, the third number is just 0. The fourth is 3. "So 0.0.0.3? "No, 192.168.0.3. "But what about the 0? "What about it? Shouldn't it be a number?" 0 is a number. "Look, this is too complex for me. Can't we just use the cable it came with?" Me in my head. Why didn't you tell me you had a cable? You said you just had the printer and the power cable. Yes. Edit. I should say this is the shortened version. In real life, this conversation went on for 30 minutes, and this ticket lasted 2 days. Some people.